ladies and gentlemen, if the police departments in this country get a case of coronavirus and they won't be able to respond to all calls anymore, just major incidents, I don't know what the phone deputies are going to do out here when the police are not going to come because some black man is standing in the middle of the street. That may just destroy their world if they can't call the police over petty shit. So this came out in The Guardian. UK coronavirus plans would strip police and fire services to essentials. So what they are pretty much saying is they're not going to come out on these little petty calls, because I'm sure they get those in the UK. Just looking at the population, they get them same petty calls that they get here in the US. So if it's not a real major emergency, they won't be responding. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm, y'all. What are the phone deputies going to do? The ones that like calling the cops over every little teensy beansy thing. What they going to do? Police and fire services might respond only to major incidents if their staff fall victim to COVID-19. The government has said in a key planning document outlining how ministers are preparing for an escalating outbreak of the virus. And this is what the US government needs to do. So, it's time to shut the phone bandits down, the phone deputy, the ones that have deputized themselves to watch over us in the Black community. Yeah, it's time to shut them down. The government action plan envisions that the army could be called into help if civilian authorities are struggling to cope, and up to a fifth of the national workforce could be absent from work when the illness reaches its peak. Schools could close, and elderly people, most at risk, could be advised not to attend large social gatherings, casting doubt on commemorations such as those for the 75th anniversary of VE Day. The measures would be rolled out only if the virus moves beyond the current destination contained phase. Speaking from Downing Street, Boris Johnson said the plan does not set out what the government will do. It sets out the things we could do at the right time and on the basis of scientific advice. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of a smart move. You need to know what's going to happen if the government has to be shut down because of the coronavirus. And that will impact even more things out here. You think there are shortages now? You ain't seen nothing yet. If the government cannot inspect all of the stuff that's coming in from overseas and all of that come to a halt, shoot, it's not even going to be worth your while to go to a store. At that point, you're not going to be able to really get anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is deep. You never know how far this thing will go. It has gone pretty far, and it's still working its way across the country. There are more cases here on the East Coast, and I'm sure there are in many locations that they're just not talking about. These folks are very tight-lipped when things are not going well for them. Okay, they seem to go silent. So, the chief medical officer for England, Chris Whitty, said the mortality rate for the illness was currently 1% based on information from China. However, it is at a higher rate in older people, particularly those age over 80 and with pre-existing health conditions. And that can be devastating even here in the US. Do you know many of these elderly baby boomers, many of them have pre-existing conditions. Many of them are on all kinds of medications that they have to take every day. So if this coronavirus hit them, you're going to have a big part of your elderly population that may actually be taken out. And remember, that is the last biggest generation. So all of the other ones are way smaller. So it can have a huge, huge impact on the death rate in America. A 1% rate could result in up to 600,000 deaths in the UK. Through Whitty said that even among the high risk groups, the vast majority of people would survive. The mortality rate could also be lower than that because there was no way to tell how many people had the illness, but no symptoms. Whitty said, exactly. And I think that's what's happening here in the US. I think a lot of people have it, but they are not showing any symptoms right now. So it can easily be spread because those people that are, although they're not showing symptoms, they're still highly contagious. Advice was released in the Coronavirus Action Plan Tuesday as the number of cases in the UK rose from 39 to 51. Yes, I did see that on The Guardian Live this morning. I try to check that all the time. And the CDC, unfortunately, the CDC information is lagging behind. When you watch The Guardian, it's more in real time. So I think it's a little better. That's just my opinion. Documents set out plans for scenarios ranging from a mild pandemic to a severe, prolonged pandemic as experienced in 1918. They're talking about the Spanish flu. Killed 50 million people worldwide. Now, see, I read it killed 100 million people worldwide. You see how these publications vary? You read one, it says one thing. You read another, it said this is why any numbers that you get from mainstream news is always going to be flawed. Just understand that. So this is exactly what should be planned in the US, y'all. We haven't heard any real plans from the Trump administration, but they really need to put something similar out, letting people know what services may not be available if this thing, spirals out of control, where your police department is impacted, your EMTs are impacted, and it has to be an absolute emergency for anybody to show up. If you're out here just being petty on your cell phone, no, people can ignore that stuff. And that should be ignored. That should be ignored even if nothing is going on. That mess should be ignored because it's of no use or importance at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, all these people with their dumb smirks on their face trying to call the police on Black people over doing nothing. This coronavirus is going to put their butts in their place. It's going to put them in their place. I'm loving it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me what you think about what the UK is doing. Like I said, they need to do something similar over here so that people know what to expect if this thing gets much worse. But instead of getting that, we got Trump running around trying to deny how bad this thing really is. And it is bad. And each and every day, I'm seeing more locations added, more people impacted, more people dying. So it's not going anywhere. So if you're in an area that's not touched, it'll probably change very soon. Very soon. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story from The Guardian. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.